Welcome, everybody, to SammyVision with your host, Sam Shalia. We're coming to you live from Sports Plus just outside Cincinnati, Ohio, for the Westerville Warcats varsity hockey team taking on the Cincinnati Swords. The Warcats will be wearing their red uniforms, black helmet, black pants, yellow, white, black trim. The Swords wearing their home white uniforms with the crisscrossing Swords emblem on the front of their jersey. The Warcats coming off a tough loss yesterday in Oxford, Ohio, to the Miami Junior Redhawks, 3-1. Two games today, both against the Swords. 11:45 this start, although we're a few minutes past that, and 2:45 scheduled for the second game against the same Swords, same bat channel, different bat time. Warcats being coached today by Coach Caleb Kramer to film in. We'll try and bring you the action as best as we can. Have played many, many hockey games here at Sports Plus, and certainly not the best run we've ever been in. Stepping in to take the face-off, senior Santos Shalia. He keeps it at the face-off dot. Cincinnati comes up with possession and dumps it into the Warcat zone. In behind the net, chasing it is Owen Hood. He sends it around the boards, looking for Cedric Towns to come to his Swords right out in front, shot, and now held on by, looks like goaltender Will Carone. So immediately a turnover behind the net by Owen Hood leads to somewhat of a chance for the Swords. Now Shalia stepping in to take that face off, wins it over to Collins. Collins looking to get an outlet up to Cullen Hassel. That was knocked down by the Swords. And now at the Swords blue line, the puck comes free and into the Swords zone. Back to get it. A Swords player. It's played up off the glass out of the zone to Owen Hood, who drop passes it to Andrew Reisinger, the captain, senior captain. Andrew Reisinger, number 10, with it dancing from the corner, avoiding the Swords player, and then plays it off the far wall. Nobody really there to play it to, but it's now out of the zone. Chasing it is now Reed Hinton, who's on the ice for the first line change. Back into the Warcat zone, played out by Caleb Bussey. Bussey is trying to get a step there in the defense, but it's knocked away from him. Swords come back the other way. Andrew Reisinger out there, or Alex Snyder, I should say, number 18. Owen Hood still out on the ice in that defensive posture now, a minute and a half into the game. A bit of an extended shift. The other four players have changed, and now this will give a chance for Owen Hood to come off the ice in favor of Aiden Whaley. Puck down into the Sword zone at the blue line. Kept in by David Reisinger. David Reisinger now to the backhand forehand shot. Save made there by the goaltender for the Swords. Puck comes out of the zone. The Warcats play it at their own blue line. David Reisinger back to get it. Sends it to Aiden Whaley defending. Whaley now behind his goal line. Whaley spins, trying to get away from the Swords player. Brings it up. Tries to break it out far side. Didn't hit the pass to Josh Kidd. And the Swords were able to keep it in. Now dumped down the ice by the Warcats. Icing waved off. And Sean Hunt up on the play to forecheck. Colin Fury and the aforementioned Josh Kidd also out there. Nixon and Wickheiser on defense, and it's the Swords who are going to be guilty of icing. 15-minute periods here for the Swords. 12:31 left on the clock, first period of a scoreless game. So far, most of the action taking place in the Warcats' end. But this face-off now down in the Swords' end of the ice. The Swords get it, found it off that far wall, now comes out of the zone. Wickheiser over to Nixon. Nixon backhands it into the zone. And it's going to be icing as he did not gain the red line. And the puck scooted all the way down below the goal line. So now faceoff's going to come back down into the Warcats end of the ice. And see if the Warcats can do a little bit better job of faceoff to maybe gain more possession of the puck. Shalia steps in to take this one, and he does win it. Back to Owen Hood, who immediately plays it off that near wall, and then taken away by a Swords player. Up to Cullen Hassel. Again, near wall, centering through to Shalia. Shalia now with the puck. Shalia skating in and over the blue line. Shalia curls, turns, fires, rebound attempt. Cowan's looking for it. It goes into the corner, scoops out in front, but a Swords player able to get to it and get it out of the zone. Taken away by Hassel. Hassel then feeds it back into the zone, up on the fourth. Played there by the goaltender below the net. And it's Cowens and Shalia trying to forecheck it. Sent back into Cowens. Cowens avoiding a check now with the puck below that goal line. Loses stick. No call there. Cowens thinking maybe the stick was slashed out of his hand. Could have just got jammed into the boards. The board's not exactly known for being in the greatest shape here at Sports Plus. So a little more, or a little something happening with that first line that was out there, and now see if they can have second line follow it up with some chances. This would be Reed Hinton and David Reisinger and Caleb Bussey, and there is an icing on the Swords as the Swords player not able to gain center ice. Face off down into the Sword zone. Left offensive face-off dot for the Warcats. Caleb Bussey going to step in and take this. Snyder and Whaley defending. The puck comes back to Snyder. He sends it hard off the glass and takes a crazy bounce, as it will, off the stanchions against the glass, and then kick that there in front. Looked like Reed Hinton went down to the ice. There's Whaley with the shot that hits a player in front. And now the Swords bring it down into the Warcat zone. Good speed below the goal line. Still below the goal line. The Sword player looking to feed it out in front. To the side of that, save made by Will Carone, and now the puck goes in behind the net. And we're going to have a stoppage of play. The puck, I believe, hopping up over the glass and hitting the protective netting. The Warcats now sending out Colin Fury, Andrew Pollack, Joshua Tidd. Nixon and Wickizer defending. It's Wickizer who lost his stick back there. And the Swords with a shot fade made there by Carone. Into the near corner. Being dug out there by Chase Nixon, but it's a Swords player who's got possession of it. Nixon now jams him in the boards and loses his stick. That's 3 times now we've seen the sticks lost by Warcat player. Wickizer's stick must be broken because he is still without a stick. And I believe now he goes over and picks it up finally. So I guess it wasn't broken. He just didn't want to abandon his position in front of the net. The Warcats able to play it out of the zone. Josh Tidd up on the plate. 1-on-1 now. Josh Tidd with the step on the defense. And there's a shot. Save made, rebound attempt. The Swords able to get to it. Kept in by Shalia. We're going to have interference. And a penalty coming to Josh Tidd. So Josh Tidd with an opportunity at one end, and then his reward, an interference penalty. And creeping its ugly, or rearing its ugly head, are the penalties for the Warcats. Shalia, Hassel, Crone, Hood, out there penalty killing. Cross-eye speed. Swords send that puck in deep. Owen Hood back to get it from the corner. Pokes at it. Now comes up with it. Backhands it to the blue line and out of the zone. Swords have to clear the zone to get back on side. Number 43 for the Swords brings it in now on the near side into the corner. Now pulls up, sends it along the half wall. Now gets it back down into the corner. Watched there immediately by Nicholas Crone. The Swords player now below the goal line. 2 Swords players below the goal line. And Owen Hood back to defend. Hassel now defending the Swords player who takes a shot from the far side, gets it back. Skating it away from that wall shot, goal scored. And I'm going to say that's probably a shot that Will Carone would like to have back. Just a little snapshot, little wrist shot perhaps. Didn't seem like there was a lot of speed on it, but Carone got a piece and it went in behind him, 1-0 Swords. And so just like that, the penalty costing the Warcats again. David Reisinger to that puck. Bussy in on the forecheck. And we're going to have another penalty called here. And we'll see who it's on this time. It's another interference call. This time going to the Swords, number 22, who's pleading his case to the referee. And maybe the referee feeling bad that the penalty cost the Warcats, so giving the Warcats a chance. But there's no really other way to say it. The Warcats' power play really struggled and looked just downright awful yesterday at times. But today brings a new chance, a new hope for the power play. Face-off won by Shalia. It comes back to Reisinger. Reisinger from the point over to Collins. Collins near side drops it down to Shalia, looking for the return pass. Shalia now skates it out and then tries to send it down towards the net. It hits the skate and it's cleared. Shalia was trying to feed it through the skates of the Swords player down low towards the net. The Swords player able to get his skate on it. Hassel with it, skating with speed, up far side, now dumping it in and chasing his own play. Good job by Hassel there with the speed. Has the puck kind of pinch up against the lower part of the dasher boards. Looked like it was stuck there. Now comes the Hassel out front, shot save made. Rebound attempt. Shalia trying to get to it. The Swords not working, and we're going to get a penalty on Cedric Collins. And this will be a cross check. As the loose puck was going in the corner, Shalia fighting to get it. Collins came in behind and knocked down the Swords player. So no more power play. 50 seconds worth of power play for the Warcats. Nothing to show for it. Now 4-on-4 hockey. And then the Swords will get an abbreviated power play. Wow. I do like the aggressiveness of Collins trying to forecheck that puck. I think it was the little shove, though, that ended up sending the player down. That certainly cost them that cross check. Just running into the player probably wouldn't have done it. And now we're going to have another penalty here as the referee away from the play is calling holding. And so just 7 minutes and 40 seconds into this game, we are now seeing the fourth penalty called. Holding. And Reed Hinton was down on the ice, and he was still trying to play the puck and caught a hold of the skate or foot maybe of that Swords player. Hey, exactly where the Warcats want to be. Down by a goal, and now 3 players out on the ice. So giving a power play to the Swords, which will eventually turn into a 5-on-3. Just unbelievable what the Warcats are doing to themselves. So it's Hassel, Andrew Reisinger, and Alex Snyder out there trying to kill off what right now is a 4-on-3 power play for the Swords. Swords leave it at the blue line now, back down low. Along the near side, back to the blue line. Sent back down low to the corner. Getting a stick on that was Reisinger. Directs the puck in behind the net. He loses his stick. Now that's 4 times. We'll keep a little tally of that. Up to the blue line, kept in nicely by number 7 for the Swords. He knocked it down with his glove. Immediately played there by Alex Snyder. Good job, aggressive Alex Snyder to get to that puck and get it out of the zone. And now the Warcats challenging the entry into the zone on the power play. Good job there. The Swords were able to get it in, about taken away there by Hassel, and Hassel shoots it down right, just wide of the net, actually. and is able to make a change. Now it's a 5-on-3 advantage for the Swords. Shalia's out there with Wickizer, and Snyder's still out there for another 30 seconds of 5-on-3. The Swords with the puck, leaving it there in the far corner. Sending a cross ice pass up to the point. Walking in. Save made there by Carone, and that was made at the exact angle that we're standing at here during the broadcast. And it sure appeared as though there was a little bit of room for that Swords player. But he shot it right into the chest of Will Carone. Falling over the boards to get on the ice, just out of sight of the camera, was David Reisinger. Reisinger now, the forward out there, looks like they're going still with Wickizer, and now it's Owen Hood. And that will end one of the penalties. So now for 20 more seconds, the Swords still on the power play. This time now a 5-on-4. There's a shot that goes wide of the net. Pass then out to the neutral zone, and the Warcats killing off the penalty and getting a face-off now down into deep into Sword zone. So works out for the Warcats to kill off the penalty, able to make a line change and get an offensive zone face-off. Caleb Bussey, Reed Hinton, David Reisinger, Chase Nixon, and I can't see the other defender. I think it's Andrew Reisinger. The Swords now exiting the zone. Marked there by Reisinger, takes it away, comes back the other way, gets around the Swords player. And perhaps a tripping, I think, but it was enough to knock Reisinger off the puck as he was entering the zone. No call. Cross-ice feed to a Swords player is wide open, far side. Nixon back to retrieve it. Swords player now skating it up along the boards and then drop pass down into the near corner. Sent out to the slot shot. Goal scored. Just abusing the entire Warcats team was that Swords player. He just won. It was actually a very good pass to find him at the blue line. And he skated in. He had a lot of room, time and space. That'll kill you every time. And the Warcats quickly down 2-0. 4:39 remaining. First period. Fury, Hunt, Josh Tidd out there. Whaley and Snyder defending. The Swords coming back. Whaley, blind backhand pass over to Snyder. Luckily, able to avoid the Swords player that was actually behind the net, almost waiting for it. Snyder now bringing it up the ice. Snyder still within a shot. It deflects off of a Swords player and goes in behind the goal line. It comes out in front. Played there by Snyder. And now the Swords able to take it away and clear the zone. Warcats dump it in and make a line change. Shalia, Collins, Hassel out there with Owen Hood and Nicholas Crone, the defenders. Nicholas Crone back to defend on the Swords player in the far corner. Shalia digs it out and gives it to Hassel. Hassel skating up along the far side. Hassel trying to avoid a Swords player. He chips it in and going in after it is Collins. Collins, as the puck played away from him, comes up near side. Owen Hood trying to get to it. The Swords able to exit the zone. Shalia back to retrieve. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the first period. Shalia centering feed to Hassel. Hassel tried to get into the zone, didn't get very far. The Swords take it away. Now 2-on-1 the other way. Nicholas thrown out of position. Goal scored by the Swords, 3-0. And the defense for the Warcats finding themselves out of position, giving up odd man rushes, and the Swords take control of this game. 3 minutes, actually 2:59 remaining in the first period. See if the Swords can get another one in here. Sorry for the pessimism, but this is extremely difficult to watch. Andrew Reisinger now with the puck. Centering feed to David Reisinger. Gets around the defenseman. Nice little move and a shot save made there by the goaltender for the Swords. Now the Swords goaltender looking behind him as the puck is played out of the zone. Reisinger now back into his own zone. Reisinger still with the puck, goes in behind his net. Puck rolls off of his stick. Picked up there by Nixon. Up to Hinton, now up to David Wright, or up to Caleb Bussey. Bussey. He winds up and shoots it into the chest of the Swords goaltender who hangs on for a face-off. A shot by Wickheiser, played by the Swords, and Perone coming way out of net to play that puck. And we are going to get a slashing call, I believe, here, or interference. Perone came out to play the puck, and then his stick was knocked out of his hand by a Swords player. Perone immediately throwing his hands up, looking for the call. And it was the back referee, the one furthest away from the play, who called it. There was a referee down low staring at the play who made no call. So the Warcats on a power play, and probably doesn't need to be said, in desperate need of a goal, in desperate need of something positive to happen, in desperate need of stopping what could get to be a very ugly game at the pace it's going. Shalia winning that face-off to Collins. He gets it into the zone and marked there by a Swords player. Gets it back, sends it over to Hassel. It was wide open in front. The puck rolled on Hassel. That would have been one of the easiest goals that he may have had all season, as he was looking at an open net. His eyes lit up, and the puck rolled off of his blade. And now the net comes off and gets supports, and the whistle was blown. So we're going to get an offensive zone face-off for the Warcats. 1:45 remaining in the first period. Warcats on the power play. Shalia stepping in to take this face-off. Puck is dropped, reached there by Cowan, or by Hassel, but the Swords able to get to it and send it out of the zone. Reisinger waiting for his players to get back on side, brings it in. Nice strong play there, gets it over to Hassel. Puts a shot on the goaltender, save made. Comes back to the point for Snyder. Over to Reisinger. Reisinger looking for an opening. Reisinger slides it through the legs of that player to Shalia. Shalia dumps it down into the corner for Collins. Collins from the near side corner up to the point for Reisinger. Reisinger sends it to the side of the net looking for Shalia, who deflected it just wide. Shalia picks it back up. Shalia curls around, sending that towards the net to hit a leg in front. Far side now. Snyder trying to get to it. Shalia comes in and helps out. Cowan's trying to get to that puck. Near side now. It's Andrew Reisinger playing it from the corner. Shalia, cross-ice speed looking for Snyder. Snyder runs into Cowan, and that allows the Swords player to get into Snyder into the corner. Swords now able to get to that puck and get out of the zone. And now the Swords just skating around the Warcats shot. Short-handed. Save made there by Will Carone. Picked up now by Cowan. Collins is tripped coming over the blue line. The Swords going to pick up another penalty. It's going to be 19 seconds for 5-on-3. There's 23.5 remaining in the first period. Golden opportunity for the Warcats, but their first line completely spent. So it's going to have to get done here by Reed Hinton, David Reisinger, and Caleb Bussey. Swords winning the face-off and able to clear the zone. That would pretty much put a dagger in the 5-on-3 and the end of the period, most likely as well. 10 seconds remaining. Hinton to Bussy, back to Hinton. Hinton over the blue line. Hinton winds up, shot save made. Rebound attempt comes to Hood, and the buzzer sounds to end an absolute hideous first period. 9 shots on goal for the Warcats. 9 shots on goal for the Swords. The Swords with a power play goal, 2 even strength goals, leading this game 3-0 over the hapless Westerville Warcats. I'm going to call it the way I see it. Start of the second period of play, Warcats on the power play, down 3-0. Face off taken by Shalia, won by the Swords, taken back by Shalia at center ice. Shalia now trying to bring it in. Drop passes it there to Collins. Collins cross ice feed over to Snyder. Snyder dancing away from a Swords player. Snyder still with that puck. Snyder winds up and hits a leg in front. Then he tries to hack it back towards the net. Collins over to Shalia. Shalia from the corner. Shalia digs that puck out of the corner. Cross ice feed looking for Hassel in front. It comes out backdoor now to Collins. Collins skates away from one Swords player. Sends it back to the front. Hits a skate in front. Snyder on a one-timer. Sent it towards the net. It ping-ponged off a couple skates. Reisinger not being held. No call there, but still with it is Reisinger showing his strength. Now over to Snyder, shot, save made. And the defenseman on the power play here stepping up on the play, making things happen. And a couple good looks there on this power play. And so unit number 2 out, 40 more seconds remaining. Owen Hood stepping out there with Nixon on the blue line that comes back to Hood. It's Bussy, Hinton, and Reisinger, the 3 forwards. Cross ice feed stolen by the Swords. Up to the blue line, kept in by Nixon, who then sends it out of his own zone on a pass, a back-end pass. He's trying to get across the Hood. He cleared the zone for the Swords. Hood now has it played away from him. And then running into his own man is Bussy, taken away by the Swords, who are able to dump it into the Warcat zone. 13 seconds remaining on the power play. Near side pass to Hinton. Feeding it up to Bussy. Bussy gaining his zone. Bussy tossing it over to Reisinger, who rides up, goes quick, hamburger! David Reisinger! And the penalty had just expired. That's going to be an even strength goal for David Reisinger, lighting the lamp. And he's been a little bit snake bitten lately. Not sure if he's using a new stick, but he has shot the puck over the net on several occasions over the last couple games. Not this time, gets it up under the crossbar. And there's the positive spark, perhaps, the Warcats have been looking for as they cut the deficit now 3-1. And let's see if the line of Hunt, Tid, and Fury can follow that up. Hunt, near side, trying to dig it off of the boards. Over to Andrew Reisinger. Reisinger trying to skate it up the ice. Taken away by a Swords player. Colin Fury back now to get it. Around the boards to Sean Hunt. And again, I mentioned previously that Sean Hunt getting a lot more ice time, a lot more regular shifts. He is out there giving it his all and being rewarded by the coaches. Near corner, comes up the boards to Hunt. Hunt trying to get it out of the zone. It's kept in by the Swords and then taken away by Andrew Reisinger. Look at his cross-ice, feed it over to Josh Kidd to hit the skate of a Sword player who then turns around and brings it into the zone, and it goes right through the blue paint in front and comes out near side. Now a cross-ice feed, the Sword. Looks like the Warcats is a bit discombobulated, knocked out of the air. Perone able to make that save. And good hand-eye coordination from that Swords player as that puck had popped up in the air and it was knocked towards Will Carone, but the save made by the goaltender for the Warcats. Shalia stepping out there now with Hassel and Cowens again. Snyder and Crone, your defenders, up to Hassel, far side. Hassel tries a board pass to himself, not able to get around the Swords player. Now falls down and takes a Swords player with him. And we get a whistle as that Swords player went awkwardly into the end boards. And that is certainly was not no intention by Hassel. Hassel was falling down, Hassel fell down actually himself and was maybe reaching out to protect himself from hitting the boards. And he got just a piece of that Swords player who then went awkwardly into the end boards. It's good to see him get up and skate off. But the penalty being assessed to Hassel, 2 minutes for tripping. And so the Warcats going to try and rely on a shorthanded goal. Penalty killing Shalia, Cowens, Wickheiser, and Andrew Reisinger. Shalia now up on the play, aggressively penalty killing, but the Swords able to get it out of the zone. Cowens to back check. The Swords now with a lot of room, sliding that puck right to the front of the net, steered aside and then cleared by Shalia down the ice. Brought out of the zone by the Swords. Played down the ice by the Warcats, and the Warcats able to make a couple changes. Good aggressive penalty kill there by that Warcats penalty kill team that was out there. And now Bussy and David Reisinger trying to follow that up themselves. Puck comes to Snyder. Snyder in the neutral zone with some time, and he sends it back down into the Sword zone. And now up on the play is Bussy. Bussy steals the puck. Bussy tries to feed it towards the net. Nobody there except for Bussy. Nobody to pass it to. Bussy, old-fashioned hip check into the Swords player behind the play. The Swords now able to finally break it out of their zone. Immediately met by David Reisinger at the blue line. Chopped out by Snyder up to Bussy. Bussy again in the offensive zone. 15 seconds remaining on the power play for the Swords, and the Warcats PK looking very good so far. The Swords able to bring it into the Warcat zone, but Hood immediately meeting that player. And again, the puck comes out of the zone. Falling down on the play was the Swords player. A breakaway for Tid. Tid shoots goal. Josh Tid, as the goaltender looked baffled. Not sure what he was trying to do on that play. And Josh Tid, that's going to end up being an even strength goal, too, as the penalty had just expired. So very close to being a shorthanded goal. But the defenseman for the Swords fell down at center ice, and Tid was away. Made sure he put a shot on net. The goaltender stumbled a little bit as he was trying to retreat towards his goal line. And the Warcats now make it a 3-2 game. And there is life. Cowens picks up that puck. Cowens around the defenseman. That shot The goaltender gets just a piece of that. It goes up into the protected netting and out of play. And what an extra pep in the step for the Warcats after a couple goals here in the second period. Face-off won by Shalia. He feeds it down to Hassel out in front. Looking for Collins, it comes back to Reisinger. Reisinger feeds it back down to Collins. The Warcats setting this up like they're on the power play, but it is 5-on-5 hockey. It comes to the blue line and just out of the reach of Chase Nixon. Nixon spinning away from the Swords player. Gains the red line, so he dumps it in. A little late to the party there. The Warcats forecheckers, so the Swords able to get to it with a little bit of time. Pinned against the boards by Collins, he keeps it in the zone. The Swords send it up to the blue line, and Reisinger blows his man up. Loose puck comes to Collins, who retreats to his own zone. Sends the puck up the ice. The Swords able to get it through the neutral zone. The Warcats now making a change. In behind the play. Check off that puck is Reisinger. Bussy back there to try and dig it out, too. A lot of pushing going on between Reisinger and the Swords player, number 88. And the whistle blows, and I believe we're going to get a penalty on both of them. And I tell you what, every single time that's going to favor the opposing team because the Warcats do not want to be without Andrew Reisinger. He does a lot of the little things correct, rarely ever makes a mistake, and he's the quarterback when he's out there on the ice. And now he's being sent to the box as it is matching minors. So we're going to stay 5-on-5. Reed Hinton, Caleb Bussy, David Reisinger, and Owen Hood, Bryce Wickizer. And the fans trying to tell the Warcats that they're playing even because they look like they were sitting back penalty killing. The Swords then send that, and now they will be penalty killing. The Swords, a tall Swords player bringing that puck all the way to the net. I believe the puck at the side of the net. It ends up in Will Crone's glove, but being hauled down to the ice with that Swords player. And David Rising, no, let's see who's going to the box. Caleb Bussy going to the box. 2 minutes for hooking. And so the Warcats going to send out as many players as they can to try and gum it up here. They had 6 players out there on the ice. So Josh Tidd getting rewarded out there now in little penalty kill time with Shalia. Shalia able to steal that puck and send it out of the zone. Sent out this time by Whaley. Chasing on the play is Josh Tidd. Making the Swords player have to hurry up and decide what he wants to do, and he does. He skates it all the way out of the zone into the Warcat zone, drop pass at the blue line, gets it back. Feeds it back to that Swords player, jumping towards the net. Save made by Will Carone, who then slashes at a Swords player. And then another slash, I think, by Alex Snyder on the same Swords player who skated in front of him. And the Warcats not liking the fact that that Swords player was up in the face of Will Carone. 3-2 to score. The Swords lead this. 7:47 remaining in the second period. The Warcats with 2 second period goals, but now killing off a penalty and trying to stay within this 1-goal deficit, at least until they get back to 5-on-5. Oh, there's a save made by Will Carone. And then you never know what can happen. The puck cleared all the way down the ice. Collins trying to steal it from that Swords player below the goal line, making the Swords player have to spin around a couple of times. Now an outlet pass through the neutral zone. Number 24 for the Swords brings it up far side, below the goal line, now below the Warcats net, trying to slide it out. And it comes all the way out of the zone. I believe that the Swords did that to themselves. The Swords then dumped the puck in. This is going to allow Snyder to get back on it. And he tries to send it down the ice. He hits a Swords player's skate. Shot save made by Will Carone. The puck jumps over the net and below the goal line, and now it's sent on a little wrister out of the zone by Collins. Warcats making a line change. Again, still killing off a penalty for another 20 seconds. It's Hinton and now David Reisinger out there. Shot partially blocked by David Reisinger. Now Aiden Whaley in front of his own net, trying to get to it, sends it off a Swords player again. The Swords able to keep it in the zone. Now the Swords backhands it across the crease. Nobody there but David Reisinger, who's able to escape. Now the Warcats back to 5-on-5, both teams at even strength. In behind the net, Warcats player goes down hard. That was Reed Hinton behind the play. The Swords then feather that pass out of the zone. Owen Hood able to get back to it. Hood below his own goal line. Around the far boards, nobody there except for a Swords player. The Swords now able to skate that in below the goal line. Looking to feed it out in front of the Swords player. He still has it on his stick as he's being watched there by Aiden Whaley. The Swords now playing keep away a little bit. Again, 5-on-5 hockey, and the Warcats are sitting back a little bit. Bussey trying to feed it up to Hinton as the Warcats going to get caught on the line change here. 3-on-2, now maybe 4-on-2 for the Swords. And the shot save made by Will Carone, who hangs on. And maybe not the best decision by that Swords player. They had the numbers. He shot a very weak shot from distance and allowed Carone to not only make the save, but hang on to allow a line change. Defensive zone face-off, Josh Tidd, Andrew Pollack, and Sean Hunt. I don't believe we've seen this combination before. Nixon and Snyder back on defense. It is Hunt trying to get to it. He overskates the puck, and the Swords get it in deep again. Coming up on 5 minutes to play in the second period. Far side, Hunt trying to play that puck. Pinched against the boards, kicking at it as a Swords player, and the Warcats able to just get it over the blue line and out. The Swords defenseman now retreating to his own zone. Saucer passes to his defensive partner. Pollack up on the play, trying to get a piece of that. Now Sean Hunt comes in. It comes free. But Josh Tidd was not able to get to it. The Swords able to escape the zone, coming back the other way. We're going to have a penalty on Josh Tidd. And so as nice of a goal as he scored, it's now his second penalty of the game. Save made there by Will Carone. That is just unnecessary. The Swords player skating it into the Warcat zone, and Tidd right in front of the referee, tomahawk chopping his stick down in front of the Swords player and taking him down to the ice. It's going to be tripping all day long. Wow. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But either way it goes, the Warcats killing off yet another penalty. Man, hard to live this way and try and get wins. The Swords in the power play, in the Warcat zone. Being watched there by Reisinger. Sent back below the goal line. The Swords were trying to set up a little give and go. Reisinger taking that away very nicely, marking his man in the corner. Now trying to get to that puck. Good job by Reisinger. And then Shalia gets a piece of that, sends it down the ice. The Swords now below their own goal line, behind the net, now coming up far side. With speed, far side, dumping it in. Getting back to it is Reisinger. He chips it along the boards to Shalia. Shalia trying to almost feed it to Hassel. Hassel now up on the play, trying to take away from that Swords player. That's where I'd like to see, again, a little more aggressiveness by the Warcats. If Shalia filled in that spot, he might have had a chance. Toe dragging, that's Hassel trying to get around the Swords player. And now he is absolutely murdered below the net. He was looking for a rebound. He skated right up on the goaltender. 3 Swords player knocked him down to the ice below the net. No call. So far, looks like no call. Hassel talking to the referee escorting him to the bench. And now the referee's having a discussion. 3:34 remaining of the second period. The Swords leading 3-2. I'm not sure what the discussion here could be other than I can't see how it's not a Swords penalty. Say what you want about what Hassel did trying to look for a rebound. He's actually was asked, he's sent off the bench. They're sending Hassel to the locker room. Jumped on by three Swords players. Like I said, regardless of what they say Hassel did, enough to send him to the locker room after being jumped on by three Sword players who get no penalty. Unbelievable. And it looks like the Swords are going to be on a 5-on-3 power play after all this is said and done. Wow. So Hassel finds himself in the locker room. Don't know what his status is going to be for the remainder of the day. Tid already in the box with an awful penalty, to be honest. Hassel tried to toe drag the Swords player. The puck continued on its way and slid into the goaltender. Hassel continued on his way towards the goaltender. He stopped in front of the goaltender. I don't believe he made any contact. Now, it is hard to see from our vantage point. Don't know if he poked at it or what, but he stopped in front of the goaltender, and then three Swords players took him behind the net, dumped him to the ice very, very forcefully, and it's Hassel who was asked to go to the locker room. And the referee now asking the coaches to send somebody to the box. This is unbelievable, man. So Andrew Pollard going to serve some kind of penalty. The Warcats fans, of course, wanting to know the cross check that Hassel suffered. No call whatsoever there. A 5-minute major. This could be a match penalty on Hassel. I sure hope not. For that instance, to throw him out of the game like that. And so it's 5-on-3. Maybe the referees just don't realize the severity of what they called for what they saw. Man, that penalty does not fit what I just saw with my own eyes. 5-on-3 for 45 more seconds. Just as the Warcats were trying to make something happen. They're only down by a goal, but in an awful situation and without the services of Cullen Hassel, which is, you can't overstate really what the loss of that is Hassel, one of the top players here for the Warcats. So 31 more seconds of a 5-on-3, and then a full 5-minute major being served by Andrew Pollack, which will be the entirety of that penalty. So no matter whether a goal scored or not, that penalty exists for the entire time. It's Hinton out there with Reisinger and Snyder. Hinton falling down, tripping over his own feet, but the puck comes out of the zone. The Swords trying to set back up. Swords slide it down to the far corner and now send in below the goal line. The Warcats a couple seconds away from getting another player back on the ice. The Swords now skating it towards the net. That shot goes over the net. And now out of the box comes Tid and David Reisinger taking his spot on the ice. The Swords still on the power play now for 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Skating it into the Warcat zone. Andrew Reisinger takes it away from the Swords player. Skates it along that goal line and then sends it down the ice. Great play there by Andrew Reisinger. Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the period. The Swords through neutral zone. Flipping it past Cedric Cowan. Met there by Snyder. Puck comes below the goal line. Reisinger to it. Trying to skated up the boards a little bit and then sent it out. He was harassed by a Swords player. The loose puck now comes to David Reisinger. He's trying to hit Collins with an outlet feed. And the Warcats, I love the mentality, maybe looking for something shorthanded if they can. Certainly down by a goal, they're going to have to see if they can make something happen. The Swords with that shot that goes wide of the net. Comes out to Collins. Collins sends it down the ice. Good job by Cedric Collins. Shalia and Collins out there now. Shalia, great job getting the puck off the stick of that Swords player. And then Collins looking to get in behind the Swords, but the Swords were able to get to it. Now Shalia again to that puck and feeds it down the ice. Collins, at the end of a very long shift, though, needs to come off the ice. Josh Tidd takes his place. 42 seconds remaining in the period. The Swords from their own end, trying to set something up here on the power play, bringing it to the blue line of the Warcats. Watched there by Tidd, fed down low. Owen Hood backhands it into the corner. It's going to be picked up there by a Swords player. 27 seconds remaining in the period. Near corner now. The Swords trying to stay with possession, sending it to the blue line and out of the zone. Tidd trying to get to the forecheck. He's not down to the ice. Tidd's back up. 12 seconds remaining. He sends it back into the corner. 9 seconds remaining in the period. The Swords still with it. Taken away by Tidd. 5 seconds. Shot goal. Save made. I knew it was going to be a save made, but part of me wanted it to be a goal scored. Save made at the end of the period. Period 2 comes to an end. The Warcats, other than the terrible calls by the referees and playing shorthanded much of the period, had a very productive second period. 6 shots on net, 2 of them going in. 7 shots for the Swords. Swords no goals that second period. No ice cut, I believe. The Warcats usually are used to that ice cut, but no ice cut here. 15-minute period being called back to the bench. And we take a short break here on SammyVision. Oh, taking a little bite to eat. I apologize. The Swords on the power play for another 55 seconds after a major penalty to Cullen Hassel. Hinton, Bussey, Hood, Wickheiser out there to start the period penalty killing. 30 seconds remaining on the major penalty. And in talking to my sources during that break, I do think that Hassel made some kind of contact with the goaltender, but agreed that shouldn't have been enough to result in him being ejected from the remainder of the game. Sent out of the zone, and that will pretty much kill off the major penalties. So if we can stay 5-on-5 here, the Warcats certainly in this game. It is 3-2, Swords leading third period. And both teams now skating at even strength as that puck bounces all the way down to Will Carone, who at the side of the net jumps on it. And hangs on for a faceoff. So let's see what we have. We're going to have, I think they're going to send David Reisinger up to the line with Shalia and Collins. That's going to take the place of where Hassel was. The Swords win that faceoff and keep it into the Warcat zone. Below that goal line, Reisinger does a good job of getting it up along the boards. He's trying to feed it up to Collins, taken away now by the Swords. Cross-side feed. And then watch there by Snyder as the Swords player falls down. Ice must be kind of choppy or something. We've seen a lot of players falling down and a lot of sticks falling out of players' hands. Fed up and taken away by Shalia as it was fed up to the near side. Now 2-on-1. Collins with David Reisinger. Collins trying to slide it across. Hits the skate of a Swords player and now clearing the zone. And it's icing on the Swords. And I'd really like to see the third forward, in that case, Shalia, filling in. He was trailing the play, but I believe trailing by a little too much because he could have picked up the loose puck in a trailing position on that 2-on-1. But as it was sent down the ice by the Swords, icing on the Swords, and the Warcats putting Hinton, Bussey, and Tidd out there. There's a shot from Nixon that wasn't able to get through all the traffic. Loose puck bounces to Tidd. He gives it to Hinton. Hinton, shot, save made. Fed out in front by Tidd, but it came right to the Swords. And now the Swords are going to skate into the Warcat zone, but Whaley able to reach out his stick and send that puck to the corner. Around the boards it goes. Tidd a little late to it, but was able to tie the player up enough for that puck to come all the way out of the zone. Tidd now plays the puck off the boards to himself. Josh Tidd all by himself, though. Now a drop pass. There's a shot by Fury that just misses. And goes in behind the net. Up to the blue line now. Nixon gets it down to Hunt. Hunt with a shot. I'm not sure if the goaltender got a piece of that or not. Puck comes all the way out of the zone now to Wickheiser. Over to Nixon. Nixon feeds it up, looking for Colin Fury. Pollack and Hunt out there as well. Now Bryce Wickheiser with it. He dumps it in and takes his position at the blue line. Pollack with it. Back out. Pollack plays it to Hood. Hood plays it off of a Swords player. We're going to have an odd man rush. Swords taking their sweet old time, though, getting to that puck. Now a backhand onto Will Carone. Save made. And 11 minutes remaining. Just under 11 minutes remaining, third period. As the Swords hanging on to a 3-2 advantage. The Warcats sending out Shalia, David Reisinger, and the face-off, but the Swords able to keep it in. Andrew Reisinger rides his man into the board. Near side, digging at it is Andrew Reisinger. It comes free, full scored. What a shot by that Swords player. What a shot by that Swords player. He got that puck off the boards, skated it towards the net, and then went up over the shoulder of Will Carone. Near side. Couldn't have been a lot of room there, but enough to get that in, and the Swords regain a 2-goal advantage.
Let's go, guys. Got a big team. Let's go. Get out in there. Let's go. Get it back.
Coaches keeping the same 5 out there. The Swords now with another opportunity. There's a Swords player coming in on Will Carone. I think he shot it wide as that puck now played in the corner. The Swords putting all kinds of pressure on the Warcats now, and these are essentially the Warcats' top line here. It comes to Collins, leaves it there for Shalia. Cross ice, just missing David Reisinger with that pass. And the Swords able to keep the puck heading back towards the Warcats' blue line. Now near side, right in front of us, along the board. Puck is poked free. Shalia picks it up. Shalia with it. Trying to feed it to David Reisinger. Reisinger ties his man up and does get to the puck. And then he feeds it up to Collins, who dances away from one Swords player, has the puck played off his stick, jumping over the blue line. And now the Swords coming back the other way. Trying to catch the Warcats on the line change. There's a shot and a save made by Carone. At the blue line, kind of standing on it was that Swords player, now Reed Hinton. Up on the left side as the Warcats make some changes. Hinton's the only one in there. Looking for a trailer. It's picked off by the Swords and then sent out of the zone. Josh Tidd to the puck, sending it right back in. Below the net. Tidd reaching to get to it. Now Tidd trying to steal it. It pops right up to the side of the net and held on by the Swords goaltender. Swords leading this game 4-2. 9:14 remaining third period. And it's easy to say so far it's been a typical work at third period where they're giving up goals, but that was a really great play by the Swords. Sometimes you've got to give the other team some credit, and it was a good play by that Swords player and a nice shot. I wouldn't fault Will Carone for that, and really the defense played well, trying to keep that puck pinned against the boards. Into the Warcat zone. Dancing around Aiden Whaley is a player who's got a lot of size on Aiden Whaley, number 54, it looks like. Now the Warcats able to play it around the boards and out of the zone. The Swords from their own blue line, skating through neutral ice, passing it off the boards. Now drop pass to that Swords player. Pushed off the puck by Snyder. Snyder then trying to feed it up to David Reisinger. And it's able to come out of the zone. Far side, Shalia picks that puck up, sends it in. And David Reisinger, far side, forechecking. That puck bounces over its stick, and the Swords able to exit the zone. Owen Hood trying to send it right back into the zone. The Warcats going to make sure they stay on sides. And now chasing that puck in below the net, David Reisinger. The rest of the Warcats sitting back like they're killing a penalty, down by 2 goals here with 8 minutes to play. Bryce Rickizer up on the left side. The bouncing puck goes over Shalia's stick. Picked up now by Reisinger. Reisinger trying to feed something towards the net. Scored! Hamburger! Cedric Cohen! On a nice pass by David Reisinger. Right across the front of the net. And Collins buries it. Collins from Reisinger and Shalia with 7:53 remaining in the third period. And the Warcats answer and stay within striking distance of this Swords team. And boy, 3 goals is a lot of offense for this Warcats team. And again, hopefully that picks up their confidence to keep it going. It's definitely tough sledding without one of their leading goal scorers, Cullen Hassel. But the Warcats are going to have to dig deep and make it happen. Reisinger now kicking at that puck from below the goal line. The Swords able to cycle it in behind the net. Nixon trying to get to it. Reisinger comes over to help. It comes up to Tidd. Now to Bussey. Bussey feeding it to Hinton. Good pass by Bussey. Hinton now with it, kicking at it. He loses the puck immediately, and it's sent out of the zone by the Swords where Andrew Reisinger picks the puck up. He spins away from one Swords player, gets around the second player. There's a shot that goes wide of the net by Andrew Reisinger. Around the board that comes, Hinton jumps into his man. Now sends the puck to the corner where the Swords send it back around the boards and out. Nixon from just beyond the blue line tried to jam it back in. It comes back to Reisinger at his own blue line. Dumps it there for Nixon. Nixon sending it up. And 6:39 remaining. Down by 1 goal. It's Snyder, Bussey, Pollack, and Hunt. Back to Snyder from his own zone. Hunt then dumps it in. Colin Fury now up on the puck. Swords come back into the Warcat zone, and number 11 absolutely obliterated by two Warcats. It looked like Collins and Rick Eyes who took that young man to the ice. Alex Snyder cycles it in behind his own net, comes out near side, now out to David Reisinger. David Reisinger over the blue line, trying to toe drag the Swords player, and then feed it over to Collins. The Swords able to chip it into the corner, and now out of the zone. Now back to Collins, Shalia, and David Reisinger on the ice. Snyder interfered with, no call. Shalia up to David Reisinger. David Reisinger feeding it to Collins at the red line. Shalia trailing the play. Now Nicholas Crone trying to get to it. He sends it up the ice. Now Crone staying with it, sends it into the zone, and making the Swords have to retreat into their own zone. They send it out to the neutral ice where it's played there by Owen Hood. Good play by Nicholas Crone to stay with that puck. Warcats making another change. They got to be careful that they're not making changes with the Swords advancing through the neutral zone. That puck's got to be in deep, but the Swords not taking advantage of it that time. Bussy and Hinton back out there. Cowan's still on the ice, and he's going to head off. This might be icing on the Warcats. Yes, indeed it is, as that puck was not able to get to the center ice before it was sent in. So, resetting, 4-3. The Swords lead this game third period. There's 4:35 remaining in the period. And the Warcats are sending out Hinton, Tidd, and Caleb Bussey. Swords win that face-off fairly cleanly and then dump it in far side. Over to get it was Alex Snyder. It comes to Bussey. Bussey's knocked down. We're going to have a penalty on the Swords. Absolutely interference. And Bussey had his back to that player and was knocked down to the ice. So the extra player now, empty net. Delayed call. Andrew Reisinger out there with the puck. It's sent back down into the Warcat zone. Now Shalia going to go back and get it and see if they can set something up here with 4 minutes remaining. Shalia now skating it out of his own zone. He leaves it there for Andrew Reisinger. Up to Alex Snyder. Snyder up on the left side. Snyder at the blue line. Trying to leave it there for Bussey. It's now played across on that near side. Shalia trying to feed it, or Josh Tidd, I should say, trying to feed it towards the front of the net. The Swords finally get possession of it at 3:42. And this would be a great time for a timeout. So on the power play, Shalia, Collins, and David Reisinger, Andrew Reisinger, and Owen Hood. Shalia winning the faceoff shot. Save made, Reisinger, David Reisinger right off the faceoff. That puck was earmarked for the far corner and gloved by the goaltender for the Swords. Great save. Stepping in to take the faceoff. Now it's the Swords winning this one, and it hops over Andrew Reisinger's glove and all the way down into the Warcat zone.
What is this red light?
That up to Shalia. Shalia leaves it there for David Reisinger. Reisinger trying to bring it into the zone. The Warcats got to get that puck in deeper. It hits Reisinger, and they're going to get a hand pass. As that puck came up into Reisinger's jersey, it fell down. Shalia took it from him and played ahead with a hand pass. Wow. So a neutral zone face-off now. Caleb Bussey, Josh Tidd, and Reed Hinton. Owen Hood and Andrew Reisinger staying out there. It's the Swords that win that face-off, trying to keep it in the zone. Bussey does a good job, but now it hops over the blue line, and the Warcats have to regroup. Andrew Reisinger over to Owen Hood. Cross-ice feed to Bussey, good pass there. Bussey winds up and nothing doing there. Taken away by a Swords player and dumped down the ice. 2:45 remaining in the period. A minute remaining on the power play for the Warcats. Maybe their best chance right here to try and tie this game up late. Cross ice speed now to Bussy. Bussy through the neutral zone. Bussy still with the puck. Swings it over the blue line and then sends something towards the net. And I'm not entirely sure what that accomplishes, to be perfectly honest. The Swords veer back down into the Warcat zone. Shalia, Collins, now out there. Collins with the puck. Collins retreating to his own blue line. Collins now up on the left side. Collins still with it. Collins, he shoots it off a shin pad. Again, I just not entirely sure what the result there is supposed to be. 10 seconds remaining on the power play. Under 2 minutes to go in this third period. Collins to David Reisinger. Reisinger over the blue line, trying to pass it to Shalia. Shalia was going the wrong direction, or a different direction. Now it's still kept in, though. David Reisinger back to Snyder, the shot, the flex down. The goaltender falls on it. The goaltender laying flat on his back, falling on that puck as the time in the penalty expires. 1:31 remaining. Let's see if the coaches take a timeout now. No timeout to be had. I guess we're going to take it with them. Shalia wins that faceoff over to David Rice, who again tries to shoot it immediately. The Swords able to get it out of the zone. The Swords bring it into the Warcat zone. Met there by Wickizer. Wickizer making his man pull up, but wasn't able to get to the puck. The Swords now got the puck in deep below the goal line, a minute 15 remaining. Up to the blue line there. The puck came out of the zone. Shalia now with it. Brings it up to Reisinger, or sends it up to Reisinger, dumps it in. And wow, and wow. I don't know if the Warcats think there's more time on the clock or what, but there is just 50 seconds remaining in this game. Bussy steps over the blue line, feeding him a pass towards the middle, looking for Andrew Reisinger. Now the Warcats pull the goaltender. Comes to the blue line, Reisinger, trying to keep it in. The Swords able to get it out of the zone. Now able to get it past center ice, 30 seconds remaining. The Warcats are skating 6 skaters, no goaltender. Up to Collins in front of his own bench. Feeds it ahead to Shalia. Shalia over to Collins. Collins with the shot. Save made. Shalia looking for the rebound. Save made by the goaltender. Shalia taking a big hack at the goaltender's pads. And the Swords player is now trying to taunt the Warcats. And are we finally going to get that timeout? I've been waiting for 16.2 seconds.
Now they call for get timeout.
And we're going to get a timeout with a offensive zone faceoff. And for as negative and pessimistic as I know I can be at times, I will say that the Warcats have shown a lot of grit this game. Falling behind early 3-0, making it look like this was going to be a laugher. Coming back and scoring 2 goals in the second. Going back down by 2 goals. Getting one back in the third period. Playing a fairly solid third period, which has certainly escaped them most of the season. And it's 4-3, 16 seconds remaining, still on the short end of the scoreboard, but showing again a lot of moxie, if I may use that word. The referee blowing the whistle now emphatically to get the Warcats away from their bench and continue play. It's going to be Bussy. It's going to be David Reisinger, Cedric Cowan, Santos Shalia, Alex Snyder, Andrew Reisinger, an empty net. Face-off won there by the Swords. Sent hard around the boards and on his own, and the game's going to, well, it's not quite going to end. It's 8.7. It is icing on the Swords. So we will have maybe one last crack at it here The Warcats got to win the faceoff, got to send people to the front of the net, and got to send the puck towards the net. 8 seconds remaining. And now Shalia is going to be chased out of the faceoff dot as Bussy was trying to get up in that play. Now the puck does go towards the net. The Swords are able to send it out of the zone, and the Cincinnati Swords will hang on to win this game 4-3. Will Carone suffering the loss. The Warcats, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. 6 shots on goal that third period. 21 for the game for the Warcats. Cincinnati just 3 shots on goal, but one of them did go in that third period. 19 shots for the Swords for the game. Goals scored for the Warcats by David Reisinger, Josh Kidd, and Cedric Collins. Next game between these two, 2:45 today. So a little break, and we will be back hopefully with SammyVision at that time. So for now, SammyVision signing off. Again, thank you all for watching.